so Ian was kind enough to hand off the next part of the solo to me, and that's what I just came up with, fresh off the press, just written. I will probably retrack it once the real drums are in there to kind of get it to vibe a little bit more with whatever's going to be going on there. But I just kind of wanted to talk about my thought process behind it and how I'm really utilizing two mode shapes to kind of play double stops within them. And it all comes from, since we're in the key of E for the most part for this solo, the C sharp minor scale, and then the B Mixolydian shape, okay? And basically the difference between my solo and his solo, and we kind of wanted to do this on purpose to kind of contrast our different styles, is that he just had a single loop going from, I think, a B to an A over and over again, all right? And I think Ian is such an expressive player that having just those simple chords go back and forth to just kind of create like a sonic palette for him to just crush it on is a big part of his sound. Now for me, I'm a little more of the mind of having kind of chords move around a lot and finding chord tones within scales over whatever we have going on. So the progression for my part of the solo is a little bit busier, and it starts on an E major 7. I go down a half step, make it a minor chord, so E flat, D sharp minor, then to the C sharp, and then to an A major 7. So really, I'm kind of seeing this as being in the key of E, even though this D sharp minor should be like half diminished if we totally stayed in the key. But I'm just going from an E to a D sharp minor to a C sharp minor to an A. And then the second time around, that A gets split between an A and a B7 because we're going back to the chorus, which is an F sharp, right? And that B kind of leads it into it. So basically what I'm thinking of is I'm thinking of the C sharp minor scale, and a lot of that is where it comes from. And I slide into just a part right here. So a double stop, I'm playing two notes at the same time. And another thing we wanted to do to kind of contrast the styles was for me to play it finger style, because I play guitar much differently finger style than I do than with a pick. And I guess this is just one example of it. I'm sliding from the 6th fret on the D and G string into the 9th fret of the D and G string. And the way I'm seeing this is this being a little piece of that C sharp minor scale. And then I'm going back to the 6th fret. And where I get the 6th fret from is from a different mode shape or a different position of the major scale, which would be B's Mixolydian, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th note, 7, 8, and the 9th note. So I'm combining kind of some of these shapes together. And then from here, I'm just going down a string. So now I have the 9th fret of the G and the B string. And again, this is all from one shape. The cool thing about the minor scale, the minor pentatonic, is that the entire fret is the same note. So you can kind of double stop your way through those pieces. And again, this is just kind of like a bluesy-ish lick where I'm kind of sliding into the next shape, which you can see this as being part of the E major scale. And again, they're just double stops, two notes at a time, through these pieces of scales, whether you see this as the C sharp minor scale, the E major scale, etc., etc. So that's the first part. And then I'm going to kind of do a hammer-on double stop. Again, still I'm just in the C sharp minor, where I'm hammering on the D string and leaving the G string open. Very kind of like, I'm sure I just ripped that off from like some kind of Hendrix thing, because I just learned to play guitar through Hendrix. So, and then I'm going back to that top, but I'm taking the G string, what I know from that scale shape again, but I'm adding that D string there. So it's just kind of a good example of how you can take these little pieces of shapes and start just like doubling up on them to kind of get a thicker lead tone, I suppose, which may not be like a traditional lead tone, but it's just kind of like a finger style thing that I think sounds better. I think it sounds better fingerstyle than with a pick, but you can still do the same thing with a pick and vice versa. So after that, I'm going straight up into a arpeggio, because I know you all love the Arpeggios with Friends series, and that's something I wanted to work into the solo, even if necessarily I naturally wouldn't go there. I'm just doing the C sharp, minor, 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 3, 5, 8, and then I'm sliding into the next stop. So 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. But once I get to here, 1, 3, 5, 1, the minor third of the relative minor, C sharp, is an E, which takes me back to the root note of the key that we're in. So this little arpeggio slide will take me to an E, which I'm in the key of E, all right? So the 14th fret of the D string being an E. And I'm walking this arpeggio up to an E, and then I'm gonna continue on. And once I'm in this E, I can think of a major 7 arpeggio shape. That little staircase thing that I've talked about in other videos. And then I can follow that staircase up into the rest of the solo. So I'm taking 2 chords, but playing in more of a lead way. The C sharp minor into the E major 7. And then once I get in this shape, I'm gonna double stop this shape all the way up and back. Just taking that little major third thing. So. And I'm kind of, you know, I could play like this, but I kind of like doing it with these 2 fingers because my vibrato is better with these fingers. I mean, it'd probably help to practice this way, but whatever. And then after this, I'm gonna stay in this kind of part of the shape. So I've got the 13th fret of the G string and the 12th fret of the B string, which again was part of my arpeggio shape I just did. But now I'm gonna walk through the scale starting on the B. So I've got a B, a C sharp, a D sharp, and an E, right? So I've got my middle finger that's kind of based on this G sharp, and I'm gonna do a pull off on the 14th fret to the 12th fret. All right, so I'm just walking up the scale, pull off, and then after I do that, I'm gonna go straight up into chord voicings that are gonna be alternate chord voicings of the chords in the song. Now, the acoustic guitar chords are going A major 7 to B7. So I'm gonna take a different A major 7 voicing, a higher register, the next highest register voicing that I can think of, which is this one. I just did a video on this in the accompanying guitar one, which is the 7th fret. There's my A, octave A, 7, 9, 9, 9. And this is kind of like a piece of a B7 chord where I've just got 7D, 8G, 7B. And then I'm getting the, I mean, not the root note, well, I guess that's the A. The flat 7 by itself, and then the next double stop into it. Okay, so the whole thing again is. Into the arpeggio runs. Double stop up through it. Then I'm gonna climb that scale into the alternative chord voicings. And then we go back up to the chorus. So anyways, that's kind of what I was thinking with the solo of the song. Just kind of navigating through scale shapes and incorporating arpeggiated chord tones of the chords that are in the progression. And I think that's just kind of like one way that I think about it when I'm playing fingerstyle electric. So hopefully you learned something, and we'll have the rest of the song coming out soon. Thanks a lot.